Okay, we're gonna start off with, we'll just review. If you're here the last class, you can jump right into it if you already know it. But someone grabs onto your shoulder. And we're gonna do key lock. Normally you wouldn't do key lock standing, but this is just good practice so you can figure out how to do it. It's the same on the ground pretty much with a couple of variances. So they grab onto your shoulder, whichever side they grab. So let's have person who's grabbing, grab with your right hand onto their shoulder, and person being grabbed, you're gonna chop into the bend of their elbow, then your other hand is gonna go up. So their arm is out, you're gonna hit it bent, and then pop it free, or at least lift their wrist so it's bent. So you go chop, lift, the one that's at the bend of the elbow, go over the top of their arm, go between your arm and theirs, and grab onto your own wrist. You might need to adjust this grip. If you don't already have it, thumb down, grabbed onto their wrist. The nice version, move it behind their back, their shoulder, get their spine bend, and then you would sink weight to try and take them down. The less nice version is put their elbow on your chest, somewhere on your ribs, up on your pecs, and then bend the arm out perpendicular 90 degrees the way it doesn't go. Depending on their height, that may or may not work. You might have to go really fast to make it work, or it might just not work at all. But that's okay, we're just going for the basic idea. And if you have it, you can just do it again, go a little bit faster, chop, lift, thread, nice, not nice. Or you can go the other arm, so have them grab with their left arm. People are actually more likely to grab with their left because they want to hold you while they punch you with their right. So grabbing with their left is probably more likely a thing that's going to happen. And again, chop, lift. Once it's lifted, thread over the arm, between your arm and theirs, grab your own wrist, and then move it. Just move their wrist behind and out to the side to bend the spine and take them down, or break it. Okay, do one more each. Again, chop it bent, pop it up off your shoulder. If they're still holding on, that's okay. Thread through, grab onto their wrist, grab onto your wrist. If they're still holding on, you can pluck it, take it down, or take it out. And if you have it, you can try doing it fast, as long as you can do it fast and controlled and you're not gonna injure them in the process. Okay, now let's go on to Krav Maga arm wrap. And again, they're gonna grab on. Generally, if you wanna start, grab on with your left hand onto their shoulder, because that's, again, what most people are more likely to do. Pray that they let go. Person who's being grabbed, arms go up. Say they're grabbing onto my right shoulder. So they're grabbing with their left hand onto my right shoulder. I'm gonna pray. My right arm's gonna go up, around. We're not gonna worry about the armbar version right now. We're just gonna worry about the basic version where I wrap around their arm and I trap it. So I reach up over their arm and trap it. Oftentimes that trapping motion will pluck their arm free, but if they're still holding on, it doesn't really matter for this purpose. Here, okay, now what we're gonna do is your hand comes up under their chin, or if they turn away, as long as you're on their skull, the bottom part of their skull, so you can lever it up. And then you're gonna step across. So whichever hand is going up, that foot steps across the body under the arm you have trapped, lift, turn, push up and back and down. And again, if you have it, you can go up, around, step through, and then just be careful in the last bit so you don't pop their teeth out or slam on the ground too hard. Pray, whichever side they're grabbing, that arm goes around, step across with the free hand, across their body, between you and them, under their arm, up under their chin, or you can even go palm up, get their nose. I've even seen eye socket, though that's less likely. Generally, you're gonna be pretty good on the chin, and then push up, back, and turn towards the arm you have trapped. Okay, do once or twice more. Another variation, by the way, is you can wrap around their arm, and instead of going for their head, you can just hit the base of their shoulder to off balance them. So you go up, around, and step, and pop their shoulder back to really emphasize the takedown. Okay, now we're gonna do cross grab. So they're gonna reach across your body, less likely, but it can still happen. And this is gonna be pretty much exactly the same thing. So you're gonna, same thing, both hands on one side of their body. On this one, you're gonna end up on the outside of their arm, whereas this one, we end up on the inside. We're gonna do the one where you end up on the outside. So both your hands pray, go up on the outside of the arm. And then again, whichever arm is closer to them, wrap around it. And now I wanna swing this arm down to hit their elbow to make sure it bends. I want it to bend just a little bit. If it's totally straight, it doesn't work great. If it bends too much, it doesn't work great. But if you have a little bend, it works perfect. So again, you go around, hit their arm bent, and as soon as it bends just a little bit, trap it. Then this one that hit their arm bent is kind of sticking up behind their arm. And this arm is free, and there's again a couple options. The basic one is you grab onto their tricep and then roll. If you roll the tricep forward, it's gonna roll their body forward while you're pushing their shoulder forward out of the socket, and then push their shoulder away from them to spiral them down into the ground. So again, they reach across, you pray, your hands go up, whichever arm is closer to their arm, wraps around, hit it just a little bit bent, trap it, and then this arm stays rigid to help keep this arm squeezed and locked, and then grab onto their bicep. You can also grab onto your own wrist if that's helpful, but I just want to get that bicep and roll the muscle. So roll it to rotate the arm, push it forward and down, and then push the shoulder away from them. If you push into them, unless you're doing some fancy Aikido stuff, it's harder to make it work than if you drag it out and down. Okay, do that a couple times. So again, they reach across, pray, hands go up, you're on the outside of their arm. Whichever arm is closer, wraps around their arm. And as it comes around, the ridge hand right here of your arm hits right at the bend of their elbow, and you're just gonna get that little bit of a bend, boom. And as soon as it bends, you trap it. So bap, trap. From there, you're gonna wanna turn and make sure face towards their arm. So after you hit it, turn and face their arm so that you can roll the bicep forward, and then you're gonna end up being kind of side by side. You're just gonna be slightly behind them. So you're here, they're here, roll the arm forward, push, spiral down, and they go. Again, if you have it, you can work on going faster, or you go up, around, pop, bend, spiral down, and see how quick you can get. You don't need to take them all the way to the ground every time, but if you get to the Aiki point, the tipping point where you have control, then you can stop. After that, it's just them practicing going to the ground, getting up again, doing ukemi, as they call it in Aikido, falling down and getting up again, basically. And if you don't have it, they reach across, hands up, go up and around the arm, and you want this robot dance motion. My arm comes down, hits the bend of their elbow, trap their arm, grab, turn and face the arm so that they're out like this and you're facing the same direction. Roll the bicep forward, push it forward, down and out. And then what you can do is have them just come up and suddenly grab you. And the second they grab, just spin around. This one you can go from behind too, from the front or behind. They grab you. And now that we know the wing trap and the Krav Maga arm wrap, whichever way they grab you, you just wrap around the arm. And it doesn't matter if you're on the outside, you'll be in wing trap. If you're on the other side, you'll be in Krav Maga arm wrap. So just do that back and forth a couple times. Just, you can walk around behind them and just come up and grab them. And however they grab, if they're behind you, just spin and raise your arms. You're gonna end up wrapping their arm. If you end up on the inside, face to face, then you're gonna have Krav Maga arm wrap and get your hand in their face, up, down, and around. If you end up on the outside of their arm, then swing it around, hit their arm bent, trap it, and spiral them towards the ground. Either way, the key is this elbow, this trap right here. Okay, one more time each. Yep, looks good, Liz. Try from behind, so they come from behind. Just raise your hands straight up to protect your head, spin towards the shoulder that's grabbed, and then just wrap around whatever arm you have. And then if you're on the inside, you go for their face, step through, push their head up, back, and down as you step under their arm, and then drive their head up, back, and down. And if you end up on the outside, trap the arm, spiral them to the ground. Okay, do one more each. You can go from the side, you can go from the front, from behind, doesn't really matter. It's kind of a universal. They come at you, you pick your arms up, you turn around, wrap around the arm in some way. Once you have it trapped, lever the arm down. As a note, if you're on the outside and spiraling them down doesn't work, you can reverse it by, say you're spiraling them down, whichever arm is closer, hook under their chin or on their face, and you can reverse it, peel their head up, back, and down. Having the arm doesn't help you as much, but you can reverse it and then kick out the back of their leg and take them the other way. Especially if they're starting to rise up. So if you're getting like this and they start to get up, just hook around on their face or under their chin, peel back, and then sweep your leg into the back of their leg. And they were getting up, and then they get to go down the other way. Okay. So let's move on to Kimura and Americana. And here's how we're going to do these. Actually, let's do Aikido takedown. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a cross grab. You're going to reach across and grab your partner's wrist, but reach across to grab. It's not on the same side, so not your left on their right. Reach across, right to right or left to left. Person who's being grabbed, you're going to do this. So you're going to make your hand into a knife. You're going to roll it around towards the center of your body so you can grab onto their wrist. So they reach across, grab your wrist. You're going to reverse it, grab onto their wrist. Just like the wing trap, you're going to push their elbow. You're going to grab their wrist. You're going to be facing the same way they are. You're going to push their elbow forward, up, and down. But then we're going to do this Tai Chi style. So if I get pushed forward, up, and down, here's how I do the escape. I'm going to turn my belly towards my palm. I'm going to roll my wrist around. I'm going to grab onto their arm, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I've got their wrist. I'm pushing their elbow forward and down. They've got my wrist. They're pushing my elbow forward and down. Turn my belly towards my palm. Drive down my arm. Roll around. So I grab onto their wrist. And then you can just spiral through. One person goes, other person goes. So walk through this step by step. If you have it, you can just go. If you don't have it, then go with me. So say let's take person who's grabbing, reach your right arm across their body. So across between you, grab onto their right arm. Person who's being grabbed, you're going to rotate your wrist down towards your center, up, around, and grab onto their wrist. Once you've done that, take your left foot, step, and turn and face their arm. So you're holding onto their wrist, their arm is like this. Put your hand against the bend of their elbow, push it bent. So lift it or roll it however you need to get it bent a little bit. Then push the bend of their elbow forward and out away from them. So it should, if you get it right, should make their elbow go up. You're holding onto their wrist, keep their wrist where it is, and push the elbow forward to make them bow. And then again, person being grabbed, turn your belly towards your palm a little bit, shift your weight down your straight arm, and then roll your wrist the same way. Curls in towards your belly, your center line, grab onto their wrist, step and face their arm, push their elbow forward, up, down, and then they're in the same boat. Forward, up, and down, turn your belly, roll your wrist, grab, step up, push, then they'll end up with your arm, and then repeat. And if you have it, you can do it flowing style, where you just go, one person goes, and the other person goes, and you can see if you can make it flow, or you can do it more submission style, where you start to put them down on the ground. So again, reach across, whichever side, curl under, down, around, grab onto their wrist, and then Jenna, you want to turn the other way. So you want to face her elbow, and then push her elbow forward, up, and down, right. And then the other person turns belly towards the palm, and then grab onto their wrist, step behind their arm, push it forward, and then the person who's getting taken down, reverse it. Yep, and then just keep on doing that. And again, see how quick you can get it, or you can do it more, put them on the ground and get up, and the other person goes. Okay, And if you haven't already switched, do the other arm. So left arm across, it'll be the same thing. Roll your fingers towards the center, step around till you're facing their elbow, push their elbow forward and down, and then cycle back and forth that way a couple times. Generally, if you're grabbed and you want to get them to let go, say you're running from people and they're grabbing on, or there's multiple people and they're trying to engage, you want to give them an arm to grab, because arms have this advantage of you can move them in small circles at the wrist or big circles at the arm. And if you're doing that circle, it tends to make it hard for you to hold on to, especially if you're turning towards the gap between fingers and just peels their grip open. So just this motion is pretty useful, and sometimes you'll end up going the other way to break your grip. Once they grab onto your chest, it gets trickier. It's much harder to make them let go. But if you give them an arm and they grab onto that, much easier. Okay, cool. Now let's move on. We're going to do Kimura, and we're going to do Kimura in an interesting way. You're going to grab now same side. Before reaching across, right to right, now you're going to grab left to right or right to left. Person who's being grabbed, you're going to step across and hit your elbow into their elbow. So your elbows are going to meet. When you do that, it should make their arm they're grabbing on, should make their elbow bend a little bit. Once you have it bent, you're just going to walk around behind them. So they were grabbing on, get their arm bent, you're going to walk around behind them. You want to get their arm like this. And then from there, you might need to adjust your grip a little bit. You've got one hand, the same hand that was being grabbed is now grabbing onto them. The other one is going to go under the arm, around behind, and you want to grab onto their shirt. You either want a big handful of shirt. You can also hook into their deltoid muscle or into their collarbone. You just want to grab onto something solid. And once you have it, when you're doing this arm bar, one hand is holding onto their wrist and that one is lifting up. So you're making their hand lift up here, but your other arm is between their body and your arm up here. And you're using your forearm to lever their elbow up. So you're going like this, grabbing onto their shirt. You're lifting your arm, and that's lifting their elbow up at the same time as you're lifting their hand up. Now, one thing you can do when you're holding onto their shirt is pull backwards, because if I want to relieve the pressure, I'm going to bow. But if you pull backwards, careful that you don't get it really tight and then do that, because you can dislocate their shoulder. But if you keep them upright, this arm isn't going to go anywhere. If they're still managing to bend somehow, you can also, this is a little bit more advanced, and if you're just getting the basic thing, don't worry about this part, but you can turn sideways and put your hip in their tailbone, and that prevents them from bending this way. And getting a standing submission here would be pretty difficult. Generally what would happen here is once you have their arm, they're going to start to move, and you would lever that, and they're going to end up going to the ground, and you just drive them down to the ground with their arm on their back. Okay, so if you have it, go ahead and go. If not, grab across, left hand on right wrist or right hand left wrist. Whoever's being grabbed, step across, and whichever side you're stepping with, that arm hits your elbow and their elbow. So you want to do like your folk dancing, hook your elbow in theirs, like you're dancing around each other, hook their elbow. Once you have their elbow, lift your hand up, push their arm across, and walk around till you're standing behind them. So the person grabbing, they hit your elbow, and they're going to walk around so your arm is back here. Now, person who's grabbing on, you're still holding onto their wrist, maybe you've adjusted your grip. So you've got your grip, you're going to take your other hand, slide along their body. So the arm is right here, sliding up, grab onto shoulder or deltoid muscle or whatever you can hook into, and then lift this arm as you lift this forearm and lever it up slowly. If you want to keep them from bending forward, maybe you want them to go forward. If you don't, pull back on their shoulder and you can put your hip into them. But if you do want to take them down, and if you want to do this, go very slowly so don't break their shoulder, and just to get their shoulder on the way down. If you want them to go down, you would just lever that and use that grip on their shoulder to drive them forward, in which case you're going to drive them down to the ground, kind of like the wing trap. Okay. So give it a try. Jen and Liz, do that again real quick. So grab on the same side. So Jenny, you want to step across with your right foot, hit her elbow with your elbow, so your elbows are both bent. Go rewind. Just swing your arms straight, yeah, like that. Now walk around behind her. Now use your right arm, keep it under her arm, grab onto her shoulder. So your right arm's grabbing onto her right shoulder. Your left arm is going to slowly lift her hand up while your right arm lifts up, so lifting up your arm. And if you're doing it right, her arm is going to be roughly 90 degrees behind her back, and you're lifting it up. And she's either gonna tap, or if you're letting her go down, she's gonna bend down, and then you can drive her down to the ground. Yep. Yeah, right, just like that. Again, if you've got it, you can try and get the position faster. Don't snap the lock, or you can dislocate their shoulder, but you can get that basic position faster. Okay, do it maybe once more each. And this may or may not be super practical. Someone grabs onto your wrist and you do this, but it does give you, anytime you end up in this arm hooked position, which might happen at some point, you're wrestling around and you get your arm hooked on their opposite arm, you can just take a quick step, grab onto their wrist, and you're behind them. Mostly it's teaching you how to get this position. It's easier to do these standing to move your body around. And then once you know how to do it, these are more commonly used Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu on the ground. Though this one, there's a gun disarm and a knife disarm that goes this way. And I've also seen videos on the internet of police using this to get a suspect on the ground. You get their arm behind their back, and they start resisting while you're putting handcuffs on. You slip your arm under, drive them to the ground, and then get them out that way. Okay. So now, Americana is very similar, and I've heard some people say these names differently, but this is the way I was taught. So Americana, you're gonna start, so get to that Kimura position. So you've got their wrist, you're behind their back, your arm goes up their back, grabs onto their shirt, and you can lever, or it's hooked if they don't have a shirt, or the shirt is too light to grab onto, just hook a couple fingers into whatever meat you can get. Okay, to switch from Kimura to Americana, all you're gonna do is slip that arm down, go around, and go back through the same gap the other way. So instead of going up their back behind their arm, you're gonna go down their back behind their arm, then go around their arm to grab onto your own wrist. So the person who's standing, you're gonna be in this exact same position. And the person who's grabbing on, you are here, I call it unthread, go back down, rethread, go towards your belly, under their arm, grab onto your own wrist. And from there, you just lift the arm up and towards the shoulder. So you take this one that way, off their back. On their back, we have much more flexibility for whatever reason, but off the back, not so much. Again, do this slowly so you don't just destroy their shoulder. So again, you start in a Kimura, holding onto their wrist. Other one is threaded under. The one that's threaded under, unthread it, rethread it going the other way, go around, grab onto your own wrist. And again, if you have it, you can do it a little bit faster. And do it one more time each. You can also try the other arm. Okay, so finish up that one. The escapes from all last ones we did, so if they have a Kimura or Americana, or they have the wing trap, or they have the large rollback, they call it in Tai Chi, where they're pushing your elbow and you spiral into it, it's all pretty much the same escape. So as whatever position they have you in, as soon as you recognize what's going on, you want to do a few things. You want to try and turn your belly towards your palm. Another way of saying that is trying to get your arm in front of you instead of behind you or off to the side. If you turn your belly towards your palm, it's going to release some of the twisting they might be doing, and it's going to move it towards the front of your body. So I'm going to do that as much as I can. If they really have it locked in, it might not be very much, but even a little bit release is good. I'm also going to try and straighten my arm as much as I can and put weight down my arm. So not necessarily down to the ground. They might have it way out to the side, in which case going down won't help you, but you want to go down wherever your whole arm is pointing, as straight as is. And you want to hip check them. So you want to drive in and try and, while you're going down your arm, drive your hip into them. Once you do that, bend this arm as much as you can. Try and pop your elbow straight up, going for their chin, or at least trying to get them to let go. It doesn't matter if they're still holding on, but that should free you up enough that you can spin and do this elbow. So you can do any of those that you know how to do, whatever one's easiest for you, or you can just go through them each. So they've got you in some sort of position where they've got your arm and they're either pushing your elbow forward or they've got your arm wrapped up or they've got it behind your back in a Kimura or Americana. Whatever it is, turn your belly towards your palm, straighten your arm as much as you can, drive as much weight, whatever way your arm is pointed. So you're doing that at the same time you're trying to hit them with your hips, and then drive this elbow straight up towards their face, spin, other elbow goes through. Okay, give it a try. We have a couple minutes left. So you have some sort of rear position. Turn your belly towards your palm as much as you can. Straighten your arm as much as you can. Your whole body goes where your arm is pointed. At the same time, you try and hit your hips into them. So hip check, boom, towards them. Once you've got that, whatever arm they had, try and pull it straight up, even if it barely moves, but it should be enough that you can turn and throw that other elbow. Think of everything else as just a bonus, so you can land this elbow. If you get this or you break free, that's nice, but I just need to get that arm position released. Okay, do one more each of whatever variety. Again, your hand turns, belly towards your palm. If it's the other hand, be the other way. Belly towards your palm, straighten your arm as much as you can, which again, might not be very much. Wherever your whole arm is pointed, move weight that way, and try and hip check them, create some space. Try and get this elbow up. If you can catch them in the face, great. But as long as I can move it a little bit, whole body turns, elbow comes across. Okay, do one more. Okay, and we're out of time. So, everybody face me, Juliet, Gagne. All right, this workout is pretty simple. You're gonna pick any 5 exercises you want. At least one, you wanna have some sort of cardio. So the easiest cardio is jumping jacks. Harder cardio is mountain climbers or harder jumping knee to shoulders. Anything that's cardio. You want one of them to be some sort of arm strengthening. That could be push-ups or tricep dips or side planks, something that moves though. Maybe you could do these rolling planks, something like that. But something that uses your arms, and then something that's core. Maybe it's V-sits or twisting butterfly sit-ups or leg lifts. Doesn't really matter what it is. One of them, that leaves 2 more. So we're gonna do 5 exercises. So at least one cardio, at least one core, at least one arms. The other 2, whatever you want to do. So you're gonna do 5 exercises, and here's what we're gonna do. For 15 minutes or 14 minutes, however long it finishes, it's gonna take me to finish explain, you're gonna do one perfect whatever it is. One rep. Then you're gonna go back again, and you're gonna do 2 of whatever it is, and 2, and 2, and 2, and 2. Then you're gonna do 3 of everything, 3, 3, 3, 3. And you're just gonna keep on doing that. You're gonna see how high you can get in 15 minutes. So take a second to figure out what it is you're gonna do. So it might be push-ups and tricep dips and leg lifts and handstand push-ups. And then for cardio, maybe you're doing jumping high knees. All right, so we're gonna start off in about 15 seconds. And you can also figure it out as you go, just like, okay, I guess I'll do this now. Okay, take about 5 seconds. Whatever you're doing, ready, set, go. So exactly one of whatever it is. And then 2 of everything, and repeat. Oh, no clapping. Good news is we're a third of the way done. Bad news is we're only a third of the way done. Where's the way done? You're on. Okay. And we're out of time. So, everybody face me, Juliet, Gagne.